Hello and welcome to the Friends Talk Film Podcast, episode number 4. If you're new to the show, we are lifelong friends and we discuss and debate movies on a daily basis. So now we bring you the latest movie news and give our thoughts and opinions on it. With me today, my friends Leo and Sacha. How are you doing today, guys?
All good.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here. So today, on today's hot topics, we've discussed Star Wars Rogue One and the updates on that, Indiana Jones 5 and continuing movies beyond that, the Wolfman reboot, Independence Day 3, Death Wish, the remake, Spy 2, and the Justice League movie updates. Also, we'll have our regular spots of the film flashback, the Channel Flick Challenge, and we'll wrap up with the box office review. Please note that we do discuss full spoilers in all movies, so if there's anything that you want to skip, please use the image in the below screen to fast forward ahead to a section that you don't want to listen to. But nothing's off limits. We're friends here, so expect the humour to be quite adult and very personal. So
I hate you, Satch. I hate you so much. Everything about you.
We're friends, really. Okay, so the first thing was Star Wars. So there's been a lot of Star Wars news in the last week. For me, the big one is the confirmation that Darth Vader is going to be in Star Wars Rogue One. And not only that, he is going to be voiced by James Earl Jones. He's coming back to do the voice. Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that Vader, he will be in the movie sparingly, but at a key strategic moment, he was going to loom large. Director Gareth Edwards said about Vader's presence, within the rebellion, it's not commonly spoken about. Within the Empire, there is this culture of knowing of the existence of Darth Vader. So there's definitely an underlying feeling that there is a power, a dark power, available to the Empire, and that if you overstep your mark, you will suffer the consequences. So, for me, this is great news. It's going to be pretty special to see Vader back up on the screen, voiced by, with Earl Jones. So we'll talk about that first, and we'll come on some of the other news. So what do you guys think?
Did Earl Jones do Revenge?
Yeah,
he did. For the last first 3 lines, or whatever, no, and all that shit. I'm down with that, man. I think I said that before, though. I think we we were talking about it pre-podcast days.
Yeah.
And they were just saying, Darth Vader might be in it. Darth Vader might, he might lend the black cape to the shit and bring it down. And I'm down with it, man. And James Earl Jones, I'm just surprised he's not dead. Like 2016, like I said in the last podcast,
don't jinx that time.
But
if he cocks his plugs, I'm blaming you, bro. I'm gonna be like fucking Leo.
No, but he's like, but it's a weird thing is, it's just on the side about James Earl Jones. He had a stutter and didn't talk till he was 4 years old.
Yeah.
Or 14 or something.
Yeah.
It's there's a 4 in there somewhere, I don't know what's there, but yeah, but it's good to see him back. And to be fair, I'm more excited about Donnie Yen being in it.
Right.
So,
I mean, would the character have worked without Earl Jones?
No.
I'll tell you why.
Because Dave Prowse doesn't sound like... I've met Dave Prowse. Dave Prowse does not sound like you think he's supposed to sound.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, there's been loads of video games where it hasn't been James Earl Jones and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know what? I watch the TV show Rebels, okay? Yeah. And those that do, all right, when Vader shows up in that show, it's him. Mm-hmm. And you know what?
It's
him.
Okay.
And the thing is, every time Vader shows up, there is a presence. Those characters in that show
a fear.
There is a proper fear, okay? Because his voice on that show kind of lends a lot to the character. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a character within itself. And it's all down to just very good, his voice and sound design, and them together. You can't recreate that with anyone else. Whenever you hear Vader, in a video game, or even better, and this is how fucking Star Wars nerdy I am, the special editions, they didn't shell out on James Earl Jones.
Yes.
So there was one line that was added for Vader in The Empire Strikes Back. He goes, cuts off Luke's arm. Luke's hanging at the bottom. Now he's going to his Star Destroyer. Now he says, in the original film, he says something like, alert my shuttle. Mm-hmm. And that's it. In the special edition, he says, alert my Star Destroyer to prepare for my arrival. The minute he says that, you listen to it. And now that you know that that's not James Earl Jones,
it's clear.
It's clear. Yeah. It's crystal clear. And I knew that it wasn't that because I used to watch that film on regular, every fucking day as a child. And you know what? When you watch a film, you see 24/7, and then there's a new bit inserted. You can tell stuff like sound and stuff, and you can't have anyone else at this moment. There are other people that do great Darth Vader impressions, but to me, you can tell who's legit and who isn't. This sells it. As for Vader being it, come on, man. Motherfucker knew from day one. All right? Seriously. Like, it's called fucking Rogue One. It's set like 5 minutes before A New Hope. Of course, Darth Vader said, look, you know what? Yeah, when he goes up to Princess Leia, motherfucker's pissed. He chokes motherfuckers. He's just like, yo, do you know how much work it's taken me to got to this point to bust up that door with all of these guys to come to you, and you're telling me you're on a diplomatic mission back to Alderaan. Fuck you, bitch. She's going to the bridge. Where are those plans? The fuck are those plans?
Jesus
this guy, look. All I want to see this guy is just sharp and goes, where are the plans? And someone dies. That's literally it. Or even better, if you've read the Marvel comic Vader Down. Okay, this is a fantastic comic book art. Basically, Vader's ship falls down on a planet.
It's the new arc that they're doing at the moment. Yeah.
So his spaceship lands on the planet. It's just him on his Jack Jones. And a nearby rebel general and stuff, he never heard of Darth Vader. He just thinks, oh, that's just the guy, okay? Let's fuck him up. Let's capture him. You don't know that he's down with the Force or anything. So he sends all his best warriors, and then it's quite literally like you send like a supervillain and normal security guards or cops. That's literally what happened. And he starts killing them, so they start sending in more elite soldiers, more fucking tanks and shit like that. And Vader's just like, please.
You just can't fuck with Vader. Vader's number one badass.
In this comic, he's like picking up their bodies and using them as
just
shields.
For people who don't know, what's it called? Vader Down? Or
Vader Down.
Or is it
Vader
just
Down.
called Darth Vader?
No, it's called Vader Down.
Vader
Down.
Down.
It's a mini-series. It's sick.
Right.
It is absolutely good.
I mean, because what I like about Clones is, he is this much more agile character than obviously we see in the movies. And it'll be interesting to see, obviously, because they can't redesign the character too much because it's so close to
that's right.
So, because you do feel he's a lot older in those movies.
Oh, yeah.
So they can't go too young. But, it's going to be, really interesting to see, the look of him and how he looks on screen now. So
I hope they keep the costume the same way they keep it in A New Hope. I don't know whether you guys noticed there's a subtle difference between A New Hope Vader and Empire and Jedi Vader. And
they should for continuity.
It's the bit in the middle, right?
They should totally...
continuity.
Can somebody tell me, Vader-wise, where Toys R Us get off making like a super roided up version of Vader?
A lot of these toys they have like free license to do
because it scares the fuck out. And I'm like, oh, is this canon? Something I don't know about? Or, like, why was Vader like Anakin's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do some roids. He's like, I can't beat him fair. So
maybe we
fuck
just
it.
didn't see it in the movie, but maybe that's why he got so angry.
Right. Up to the kill.
Issues,
He just Chris Benoit his shit. That's what he did because he straight up killed those fucking little kids. We just went there.
So in some more Star Wars news, Mads Mikkelsen confirmed more about his character and that he'll be playing the father of Felicity Jones's character, Jyn Erso. So it looks like that he's going to be a scientist and he might be heavily involved in the plans making for the Death Star. And he's potentially one of these characters going to flip back and forth. He's going to be undecided. He's going to be doing something because he thinks it's for the greater good, and she's going to be telling him, no, you're wrong. And, he might end up helping her escape in the end or something like that. Then also the other one is Forrest Whitaker's character. So he's
Saw Gerrera.
Right? So he's from the Clone Wars.
He's from the Clone Wars.
Tell us more about that character.
So basically in the Clone Wars there's this whole story arc where there's this big massive rebellion or like some skirmish down on this planet called Onderon, not to be mistaken for Alderaan.
Onderon. Yeah, that's
Onderon.
right. Yeah.
And basically like the Separatists, because it's Clone Wars. Yeah, back then. So Dooku and that, they're after their leader, the king and stuff, and he's gone in hiding. And then there's this resistant leaders who, the resistant leader there is Saw Gerrera's sister.
Right.
Okay. And she's like the shit, basically. And he's, they're like quite close and stuff. And he's like, I think he's the younger brother. I can't remember. It's so long since I saw it, like a couple of years back. But big story arc and stuff. And like she sacrifices her life basically. And she wins the war single-handedly as she does so. So she's like a big martyr on that planet. And a big, like leader that's well worshipped and stuff. So obviously, like from that conflict, I know they've used this character in all the now canon, Disney canon expanded universe. They've used this character in some of the novels and stuff.
Okay.
So, I didn't know that this was the guy when they said Forrest Whitaker, because, in the Clone Wars cartoons, he's a lot skinnier and like, you wouldn't.
It's a very different look. You don't think it.
Different look. So this guy's seeing some shit, and that kid in the cartoon, he's quite an extremist. You know what I mean? So I totally see him as more an extreme kind of like warrior kind of character.
Okay.
He's seen some shit. He's obviously got an eye patch now.
Yeah.
It's Forrest Whitaker, for fuck's sake. I would see him and Mothma like slumming it together, going, "Yo, what's up?"
Yeah.
I'm glad you went on to this sort of stuff, because I didn't watch Clone Wars.
So the character, so this kind of storyline happens in the 5th season of the Clone Wars. So if it's something you want to go back and watch, this year,
check it out, man. It's a good story arc.
So that's season 5, and so I mean, I do like that they are linking the Clone Wars and Rebels to this extended universe, and they are drawing more from that, in these earlier stories. I haven't seen the Clone Wars. I watched Rebels, so that's definitely something I'm going to go back and revisit, because plenty of time till December.
Yeah,
I'm going to be watching all that to get as much background, obviously, to those, because I think there might be a few other little subtle things in there.
There's loads of nuggets.
So based on the Clone Wars, can you see like who the Donnie Yen character might be?
I think he's a new character. I don't think they're doing that with everybody.
Yeah,
I think he's the guy, because the thing is, once they announce the character names, they've more or less confirmed where they're from and stuff.
Yeah.
The character I'm looking forward to, I hope Chopper's in this from Rebels.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man. If there's anyone from Rebels, he's the guy I want in there, man.
Yeah, it's just to confirm, Donnie Yen is playing a character called Chirrut Imwe.
Okay, sounds like a new character then. Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell.
The thing is, I never watched it. I know that Star Wars, I don't know what is and isn't canon when it comes to the comic books, but I know that they link a lot of stuff from the comic books in the movies and vice versa. Because if you look at stupid scene in fucking Force Awakens. I hate this scene. It's the scene where, if you haven't seen it, spoilers, skip ahead. But if you have, C-3PO, it's like, oh, hello there, Han Solo. My name's C-3PO. You might not recognize me because of my red arm.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that character. But anyway, the red arm is actually related to something that happens in a comic book.
Yeah,
like
recently.
A little while back, and they sort of just link it together.
So basically, Leo, what is canon? We're going to take out all the comic books aside. When Disney purchased it, they said the only thing that's canon is all the stuff George Lucas has personally worked on, which is the films and at the time the Clone Wars cartoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was it. Now, since the acquisition and stuff, obviously Dark Horse Comics used to do the comic book side. Now, because Disney owned it, Marvel do the comics and stuff. So everything Marvel have done up until now, all canon.
That's canon now.
So everything that's got like
all those old novels and stuff they had
they're
before,
under. They're not part of canon, but they're under Legends. The reason why they call it Legends, they said, doesn't necessarily mean
we won't take from it.
We're not going to take from it. So what they're doing is kind of like the 616 in Marvel and the Ultimate Universe or whatever. They're just taking the best shit. From the Legends canon.
That's what Secret Wars is going to be now.
Secret
kind
Wars,
of thing. The Secret Wars is, I think it's the new Secret Wars that's coming out. It's going to be a crossover of 616 and Ultimate Universe.
And this is one thing. This is one thing I got to say to Star Wars people. Before, I'm old enough to remember this, but Marvel used to do the comics well before Dark Horse, and before Timothy Zahn got up and did his free books and stuff that everyone likes to get their dick and like wave about and go, look, this is canon, this should be 7, 8 and 9. Look, Marvel did a whole run of comics from when the movie came out, Star Wars A New Hope came out, leading past Return of the Jedi until they decided shit, no one's into Star Wars anymore in the mid 80s and they stopped it. All those books are not canon and they weren't canon back then under the Legends.
That's
you know what I mean? Dark Horse, fair enough, took, again, looked at some of the Marvel comics and was like, took some of the good shit and, it just happens. New generation of people. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
And you know what I mean? Like, we're at a point with Star Wars where a lot of people look at Force Awakens, okay? Yeah, it was exactly the same movie as New Hope. But you know what? It needed that. It needed that.
It needed that refresh.
It needed that refresh because there's a lot of people that... Look at China. China it didn't do well in China. You know why? They've never seen Star Wars.
Yeah.
They've never seen Star Wars. You know, why do you think Donnie Yen's in this one?
Mm-hmm.
Appeal to a bigger audience.
Yeah.
And this is another chance to get people into the original trilogy. Because you're going to come out of Rogue One and you'll be like, so this Death Star, and it links right into A New Hope.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 7.
Original
They're ready for 8.
Yeah.
Come by the next year.
Yeah.
So I think Disney are smart with keeping it OT based.
Mass power, man. Mass power.
Yeah. All right, so there's going to be lots more Star Wars stuff coming up over the next few months. I'm sure there's going to be another trailer not too far away because they're just kind of doing the reshoots soon and stuff like that. So there'll be a new trailer soon. So it's going to be one of the biggest films of this year going into next year. So right, so the next topic is Indiana Jones 5. So it has been
1,000.
Yeah, so yeah, it could very well be. So it has been made official. Obviously, the Disney and Lucasfilm are working on a 5th Indiana Jones film for the franchise. Steven Spielberg is back to officially direct. Harrison Ford is back as obviously Indiana Jones, and John Williams is back to score the film. Spielberg has also said that George is going to be an executive producer on it with me. Of course, I would never make an Indiana Jones film without George Lucas. That would be insane. I don't know about the last quote, Stephen, but yeah. So Spielberg's already gone on record that he's not going to be killing Harrison Ford off. Do we kind of and they've also confirmed that number 5 isn't going to be the last one. They are looking at doing further Indiana Jones films. So what do we think is going to happen with the character? Do you see after this number 5, which is going to be the I'm Sorry movie?
Yeah.
How
do you apologize? How do you apologize?
Will Ford do another one? And will they recast him like a James Bond character?
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly what's probably going to happen. I mean, like, look at Indiana Jones. It's a retaliation. They both couldn't do a James Bond movie, so they went and made their own. That's literally what happened. Mm-hmm. Okay, because what happened was Lucas was trying to do a James Bond-like thing. Steven Spielberg wanted to do a James Bond movie. They were like, he's an American director. No, we don't want him. Yeah. And they went on holiday while Star Wars was coming out, because it's what Lucas does. He gets away from the hype. He goes to like somewhere. He went to Hawaii with Steven Spielberg, and Steven Spielberg was like, "Oh, I really bummed out. I wanted to do like James Bond." He goes, "Whoa, fuck that shit. Indiana Jones." Mm-hmm. No, it was Indiana Smith at the time.
Indiana Smith with Tom Selleck, right?
No, this was before, because it was just the idea. He goes, Indiana Smith, this is the idea. And Steven Spielberg goes, I love it. I hate the name. Let's call it Jones. Boom. The baby was born. You know what I mean? And like, that's just it. Harrison Ford wanted to be Indiana Jones from the start because he heard about it from George Lucas, about stuff he was doing. He was like, wow, I want to be I want my own James Bond. Fuck it. That's the kind of movies that I like doing. Yeah. So for and what was it? Spielberg wanted Ford. Lucas didn't want Ford. He worked with Ford on 2 other movies. He wanted someone else. That's why Tom Selleck auditioned. That's why Kurt Russell auditioned.
Imagine Tom Selleck.
You can actually see the
auditions on YouTube, and Tom Selleck was actually kind of good, I felt, but a bit different, but a bit taller, and a bit like mustachio, but
Mario with steroids.
So I think what they're going to do with this. So I think we all thought with Crystal Skull they're looking to like pass the torch.
Oh no,
stuff like that. But that's not going to happen now. No. It looks like it's literally just going to be these were his 5 films, and now it's going to be someone else. Like Sean Connery had his 5 and 6, and then they moved on.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like, you know what? With these comments, because Bob Iger seemed a little bit unsure about because look, Harrison doesn't want to let that whip go. No, okay, he doesn't want to let that shit go, man. He was pissed at George Lucas for putting the old man in the front of. What's it? The Indiana Jones Chronicles, the TV show. Yeah. There was an old guy that played old Indy, and Ford was pissed about that. So in the last season, there's actually 2-3 episodes where Ford, straight off The Fugitive, is actually playing old Indy. He's on an adventure. It's in the 50s.
I didn't know that. Wow,
he's actually, because he's doing The Fugitive, he's Indy with the beard. He has the fugitive beard and stuff, and he's with a red Indian. That's his friend Max or something. And it's really
nice and racist there. Yeah,
I know, right?
I don't know. To be fair, like I grew up watching the original Indies. Yeah. I don't know how you can apologize for rape, because
that brings me back to the South Park.
That's exactly what I'm thinking in my head. Like, you can't you just can't apologize for that fucking atrocity of a movie. And the thing is, if you break, like, it's a good film if it's not an indie film. Like, in my head,
I see what you mean.
remove Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull and put John Smith and the Aliens, and you're like, okay,
or even if it's like another The Mummy, franchise,
and I'm like, because that's
I
better than what the third one was, like, or the Dragon Emperor with Chow Yun Fat or whatever. Is it
with
Jet Li? Yeah, they all look alike.
Who came out of retirement?
I'm gonna take the Chris Tucker. Y'all look alike. I'm gonna take that. But I mean. Hurts. It hurts me.
So if we're going to recast it, who do you see in the role?
As Indy?
Recast. Loads of people,
Tom Selleck.
Get him a free picture deal. Let's turn him out now.
Have you not seen... do you know what? Like, Tom Selleck is so... He doesn't look like he could be a flexible actor.
Yeah.
But, like, he'd be a perfect Commissioner Gordon.
Definitely.
From Blue Bloods.
Blue Bloods? Yeah. So he'd be... But, yeah, I mean, like, who fuck... Wait, what kind of Indy are we going here, though? Are we going, like like
we're not going to recast a 60-year-old, are you? As a 60-year-old, so we're talking. He could be before the first film.
Yeah, so I mean pre-arc or post-arc.
I just think that they won't go specific in time, like with Bond. You know, when they rebooted Casino Royale, they didn't ignore what was before, but they're just like, we're redoing it, and it's just him in a time, and that's it. Yeah, and I think that's very much what they'll probably do with this.
I think with Indiana Jones, though, I think it's very. I'd like to see him in that era with the Nazis. That was the whole point of making him contemporary. I mean, you know, in terms of recasting, I'd like him to see him go... Like, Harrison Ford was almost 40 when he was Indiana Jones, okay? When he did Raiders. He was like 38, okay? So, like, that's quite old as it is. And the thing is, I'm not saying there isn't anyone that age, there are quite a few people that age roughly that I think that could do the role. But for me personally, that's as many as he wants, to be honest. Ford's playing it until he's like 80. So I don't
he's playing it up until he is the old man.
Yeah, until he's like, look, Ford's there till he's dead. Okay, that's the actual reality of it. But to be honest, the next person, you know what?
I thought Jared Butler.
No.
Maybe he could pull it off if he got chubby. Because he's too six-packy for my taste.
One of the top ones on the internet is obviously Chris Pratt.
That's not who I see.
As a young Indiana Jones, As a young Indiana Jones, River Phoenix style.
So one of the other ones is Carl Urban.
No, I can't see it.
You know what? I'd give Carl Urban the chance because he is Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because he's fantastic at being anything.
I know who. Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck. There you go. He can play the shark in Jaws. He's Batman. He converted lesbian twice.
So what about Bradley Cooper?
Yeah. I can totally see Bradley Cooper.
He could do that.
He's got that cheeky part of him as well, that wisecracking part. If you look at
the Rocket Raccoon, he needs to bring that in.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Yeah. Or if you're going to go younger, you've got Channing Tatum.
No.
Or you've got Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. So like much younger.
No,
as in fucking science bitch
like
guy.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so what if you went completely different? Chadwick Boseman, who played Black Panther in Civil War.
Oh, I like him. He was in Draft Day. Draft Day is a good fucking movie. Yeah, he was in that. I do like him.
So what about that? If they went completely different?
If they no. Honestly, if they went with a black actor, Denzel.
And Denzel's too old now. He's pushing 60.
He's younger than Ford.
Yeah,
you might get one movie out of him, but
Denzel's young, but he's too serious. Like he just when you see him like do a comedy role, it's usually with a motherfucker at the end because like he's funny in Training Day, but funny because he's about to bust a cap in your ass.
To be honest, as a fanboy, I'd like him to go younger.
Than start again, kind of.
Because like I watched all the young Indiana Jones kind of ones, so I'd actually go around get someone to play like a 28-year-old, 27 minimum. I wouldn't go 25 or whatever because that's like way too young. But late 20s. Have it be his possibly. Have it be his first archaeological adventure kind of thing under his mentor. What's it? Abner Ravenwood, who's Marion's dad. That's what I'd do. I'd have for the Abner Ravenwood, I would have, someone like a Liam Neeson type. Pierce Brosnan.
Ooh.
Pierce Brosnan. If
That's
you
a good idea.
Pierce Brosnan.
Oh my God, who else can this man teach?
Oh yeah. No, Pierce Brosnan only for the Bond reference. Because I think he can't. Yeah. If you're going with Liam Neeson, I think Pierce Brosnan. Plus, Pierce Brosnan's the kind of actor that needs work. I'm sorry, I ain't seen him in anything.
He was just in something recently where he plays like a drunkard.
He was actually in. We watched the film together.
Yes,
the one with Owen Wilson.
That's what I'm thinking
about.
That
was it good?
Nowhere to
Run.
No escape.
No escape.
Was it any good?
That's good.
I actually really enjoyed
fucking
it.
Bangkok movie.
But I'd have him be the mentor kind of thing, and actually, they go on an adventure. He shows him the ropes. His mentor dies, passes the torch. He becomes the Indiana Jones, kind of like the Casino Royale of Indiana Jones.
That's it.
And then I'd have another older actor, I don't know who, to play. The guy. Oh shit. Marcus Brody, the guy, who's his dad's best friend. I'd have someone play him, have a set piece in the museum, and have it be, which way is it, Marcus? Oh no, this is your museum. Because he gets lost in his own museum. Just throw in that reference to the old thing. Because those films kind of gave you characters, but it was all about what you didn't see about their characters. And I would love to see that character finally be put to the screen of Abner Ravenwood. Yeah. And I'd like to see Marcus be introduced through a brand new actor. I don't know who, because I can't think right now, because obviously he'd be younger rather than as old as he was in Raiders, if that makes sense. But yeah, that would be my take on a rebooted Indiana Jones kind of thing. Right there, adventure there. Otherwise, more castings. I could see Zac Efron or what do you call it? What's the guy from Drive called? He's in the nice
Ryan
guys.
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling would be excellent.
Yeah, I can see Ryan Gosling as well.
Bradley Cooper.
I want Ryan Gosling to hold me in his arms. I'm saying that I'm not even gay. I have a girlfriend and a son and everything. But Ryan Gosling, you can cuddle me any day.
Okay, all right, we're going to move on, but it'd be really interesting to see your thoughts of who you could cast Indiana Jones. So, definitely tweet us at Friends Talk Film and, put in your suggestions there. So the next topic is the Wolfman reboot. So obviously Marvel's got its expanded universe. DC's bringing in its expanded universe as well. So Universal's got its monster movie universe. So it kicks off with The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe. And so according to reports at the moment, there's a lot of rumours about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to star in the Wolfman reboot. So this was rebooted not too long ago, 2010, with Benicio del Toro. Didn't perform very, very well. It didn't perform well at all. Very negative reviews. So thoughts on the casting? I mean, is there nothing The Rock can't touch that can make it better?
Well, it's his new casting since yesterday. I don't know, man.
I'm down with it, man. The Rock's a badass. He's like the modern day Arnie at the moment. He's just kind of making things, and he's just making bank, man. He doesn't. But then, I don't know, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I'm gonna move off from The Rock. Dwayne Johnson. He's not just he's not just a funny guy. He's very versatile. He can play like a serious role. You watch Faster, or even watch Walking Tall. Some of the early stuff he did. And that's pretty good stuff. And then he can be really funny when he does Center Journey of the Earth #2.
Or Be Cool.
Or Be Cool. Oh, he's fucking hilarious. Great movie. Cool. Yeah. And, he's quite versatile. But not only that, he's really marketable. And, he markets himself really well. He's all over social media.
Very, very
popular. And if you see him on any talk show, he's just super charismatic. And he's super funny. And anybody that's ever worked with him, I mean, I don't know this personally. It's just from what I've read, but they've always said The Rock is such a great guy, and that filters through. So even if he makes a shit film, it's usually quite successful because he's in
because of the type of
person, and the kind of guy that he is.
Yes, I think it'd be great for the franchise. So for
it
them,
depends where they're going with it, though. When I heard about this, I was like, oh, okay, what are they going to do here? Because you got a monster movie franchise, but the monster movies of the old times of the 50s, those are your Draculas and all that stuff. Those were all they were horror films. They were made to scare you. But obviously now that we're in this current era where we are, the very politically correct era, where are we going to go with it? The Rock is not the type of guy to make an R-rated film. So Wolfman is going to be somewhat of a funny movie with some sort of comedic element to it, along with The Mummy. I mean, not the first with the original Mummy, but the one with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
I love that movie. I think the first one's great. It's really funny. It's just got everything really well balanced, and I think that they're going to bring Tom Cruise in, and it's just going to be just like that. It's going to be really funny, great little balance to it.
So I think it's actually the opposite. I actually think it's going to be a much more serious type of Tom Cruise in it. I think he's going to want to be a little bit darker and him to be running a lot. As opposed to just running from mummies. So I actually see the Tom Cruise. I mean, I like Tom Cruise as, with a comic element to him. I think he does that very, very well. But I actually see them going a little bit different direction. And I actually think darker with this. And I think the reason they're going to get The Rock is for his human character, they'll have him a little bit more jokey. But as the wolf, he's actually going to be quite dark. And
are they going
that may
Monster
be appeal
Squad?
for him.
Are they going Monster Squad with this? Where they're going to have
there's not
whole
enough
team?
spoken about.
Because if they do, then I'm sure The Rock's going to be pissed. He's like, Mummy again? I don't really want to be attached to that franchise anymore after what you did with me then.
I'm not entirely sold on this casting. I love The Rock and everything, but you see,
it's a safe bet though. For them, it's a safe bet. They're like, we're gonna cast The Rock. It's going to make money, right? People are gonna go watch it regardless. And it's like, and with The Rock, I keep saying it, but with The Rock, they can hit all demographics. They're not just gonna you cast Tom Cruise in. Tom Cruise has made Interview with the Vampire. He can go across platform. I guess
they need to go the other way from the other one. I mean, what I was going to say was that. You think of the Wolfman, and you get someone like The Rock, and a wolf is going to come at The Rock. The Wolfman's coming say he's the guy where he's got to take the Wolfman. You're kind of like, so? You know what I mean? Because it's The Rock.
But isn't The Rock going to be the Wolfman?
Well, even if he is the Wolfman, it's not that much of a transformation because it's the fucking Rock. But if you had I don't know,
it depends on
if you had Zac Efron or someone scrawnier than Zac Efron because he's hench now, but old Zac Efron, okay, if you had old Zac Efron, he's just a little weedy guy, and then you got some big wolf after him. That's a bit more intimidating to the audience, you know what I mean? But I guess because they did it that way, the other two incarnations, especially with the last one with Del Toro, you know what I mean? They probably want to go the other way now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I get it, but I don't see it necessarily.
I think we have to wait till the Mummy comes out.
What other
the Wolfman?
But which? Yeah. So no. Okay. So this is the confusion with me, right?
The Del Toro one and the previous one before that.
Okay. So this is my confusion. Who owns? Maybe you can tell me. Who owns the rights to Wolf?
Wolf
with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer.
I think that's Warner Brothers.
Is it Warner Brothers? Okay, because I thought that was just I thought that was a first reboot.
Oh right, I think that was just more of a one-off. Just get a bit something different. So I think we'll find out more about the franchise and where it's headed when The Mummy comes out. Once we see that tone of the movie, we'll get a better understanding, especially from the first trailer when that does drop.
Just before the next thing you're about to talk about, have you seen it?
No.
Okay, so I'll make sure that when we talk about it, because we're gonna. Have you seen?
Yeah, well, no, I don't mind. So
right?
So basically, the next topic is Independence Day 3. So obviously, Independence Day 2 hit cinemas in the UK this week and the US. Even though Independence Day Resurgence is just come out, Roland Emmerich is already talking about if it does well at the box office, he's already got the third installment with an idea. So obviously he'll come back to direct it, but he's got more of an interstellar feel about it. So he said the next one will be an intergalactic journey. It'll be set maybe a year or two later, not like 20 years. It will maintain this group of people that is built in the second movie, especially the young characters and Jeff Goldblum and Brent Spinner will take part in it. It'll be fun to keep that group together. Will I definitely direct? Oh yes, I'd never let anyone else do it.
Yeah.
So you both have seen Independence Day. We'll talk a little bit more about it in the box office review.
Yeah.
But do you want to see a third?
There needs to be a third. And the way the second one ends, it's like it needs to happen. I'm not fussed if they don't do it. I'm not going to be upset if they take 5 years, 6 years, whatever, 20 years. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't happen. I'm just happy I got kind of like a little nod from the originals in the new one and stuff like that. But if if you've seen the second one and you understand, there does need to be a third.
And you can see how easily.
Yeah, and who fucking knows? Like, who knows, right? They might make a fourth, they might make a fifth, they might just keep going. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
Only because it'll fuck everything up. But I'm down if they make a sequel. Just, and I know what you're going to say because you're kind of like lackluster about the second one.
Third,
Again, we'll talk about
would you
it
want a
in the
third?
end, but
I can't comment.
Yeah.
I can't comment.
Well, no.
Right.
What about a third? I mean, would you want to see a third movie?
Not particularly.
No. Okay.
I think one and done kind of movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's as far as I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure it's going to do the box office. So I can see a third definitely coming. We'll have to wait and see about that. So next one is the Death Wish remake. So the Death Wish remake went through another development problem last month where the directors, Aaron Kishels and Navot Papushudo, don't know if I pronounced those right, apologies. They left the project over creative differences, but seems to be back on track as Eli Roth has jumped on board to direct. Bruce Willis remains the star in the new adaptation, which is basically a remake of the 1974 original starring Charles Bronson, and that had many sequels as well. So basically the premise is a pacifist man whose life is destroyed with a violent crime against his wife and daughter goes on a vigilante rampage. So MGM and Paramount will be hoping Roth can obviously bring something back to it. He directed Cabin Fever, Hostel 1 and 2, and Knock Knock, which is actually quite a good film. I actually really enjoyed that.
we watched that together, yeah.
And so what do we think? Will this kick off a new series of films?
Well, okay. I just watched the original Death Wish pretty recently, a couple of months back, because they're all on Netflix. And actually, a lot of Charles Bronson films are on Netflix. And
Charles Bronson's the man.
I know, man. Any of you kids never seen a Charles Bronson movie, get on that shit. He did some wicked films, man. But Death Wish, okay, I don't particularly want a remake of this, but you know what? I could see why they would. Eli Roth intrigues me. That at least gives me faith that it will be R-rated to a degree and not a watered-down 12A version of the property. My problem with this is uninspired casting. I don't think Bruce Willis is the man for this role. I mean, look, Bruce Willis, old Bruce Willis, could play this. No, even, you know what? Old Bruce Willis could play it in his sleep. You know what? Even now, he could probably play it in his sleep. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But he just wants to be Bruce Willis now.
But you know what? You know what? It's too easy. It's just do you know what I mean? It's uninspired casting. Even, you know what? I'd take Liam Neeson over him. And you know what? But haven't we seen that in Taken?
We have seen that in Taken.
Still, I was about to get there. That still is uninspired casting, but I could see why they would, if they would have got, let's just say Liam Neeson was cast in a role, I'd be like, okay, I'd watch that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't think anything by it. But I wouldn't want Liam Neeson. I would want someone, you know who I'd get? You know actually who I'd get? He's an old guy, right? He's an old guy. Charles Bronson. No, Charles Bronson. I'd get Harrison Ford. I'm going back to 90s Harrison Ford, where he was that guy in action movies, whooping some ass, okay? Exactly. Air Force One, The Fugitive, all right? Harrison Ford at the moment is on a resurgence, but he's reliving the glory days, you know what I mean? You give him Death Wish, you know what I mean? That is something, that would be a completely different side to anything that he's played before, and it's something that he can play.
Would he take it, though?
Well, pay him the money.
I mean,
pay him the money.
So that, we're talking about the older character here, but I can see them wanting to do a franchise. Yeah. So that's why, again, for me, it doesn't make sense to have Bruce Willis. Because it's how long is he going to keep going? But potentially they're looking for that older character who's, it's not going to be quick-witted. He's just going to be kind of more brutal. Yeah. An impact. So I can see why they've gone Bruce Willis, but like I say, I don't like that casting myself either. I think they should have gone a different way.
I would even go with De Niro or just Pacino. To be honest,
No Pacino. Why no Pacino? I think we've said everything we need to say now with Pacino.
Why?
I think
what's wrong with Pacino?
Jack and Jill really just left a real bad taste in my mouth.
I'm
a Pacino lover.
He either done that he lost a
no, they
bet
paid
or he
him back. They gave him
Oh.
money. They were like, someone was like, we need to have credibility to this movie. Call out Pacino. What's he doing? He's like, I'll tell you what, I'll do it.
or even Sylvester Stallone. Or even, you know what I mean? Or like,
I can see a Stallone.
yeah, I
Death
could see
Wish.
Stallone easily do a Death Wish. In fact, Stallone was supposed to do Death Wish.
What about
at
Van
one
Damme?
point.
Yes.
Van Damme.
Van Damme Death Wish, man.
Van Damme Death
Van
Wish.
Damme
Why
does
not?
Death Wish movies anyway.
Yeah.
Like if you watch any, I'm a huge Van Damme
Yeah.
fan. So if you watch any of Van Damme's movies, he's done Death Wish shorts, a film called Until Death.
Yeah.
Death Valley. There's a lot of films with the word death in it.
Yeah.
Death Warrant, like, or you know.
Well, let's change it up. Let's get Wesley Snipes in there.
Yeah. No, but okay, aside from all these action heroes or whatever, before I was going with just actors that probably, haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
Keith Sutherland, maybe, because he's kind of disappeared a little bit. Maybe
He's doing more voiceover work.
He's doing more
and stuff,
voiceover work
yeah.
and stuff. That might get his movie career up again.
Mm-hmm.
Older actors, and you don't have to go with stereotypical action
Go
movie.
Butler.
Not Butler.
I like Butler.
No, but Butler's
Why
too
do
young.
people hate Butler? No, he's
I
not.
don't hate him. It's just
Butler's like
He's a bit more
45,
indifferent
Yeah,
46.
no, he's got to be like 60.
what the cat. What
the
in the
character,
movie?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck Timothy Dalton. I don't know. Get a Butler. No,
Well, just
Brosnan?
Brosnan.
Eastwood.
He's,
Well,
He did his film
that'll be-
already.
that'll
It's
be a
called Gran
slow
Torino. What's that?
Yeah, Gran Torino. I really like that.
oh yeah, I love that
great
movie.
Yeah, then they did Harry Brown and they just ripped it all
Or even
off,
better,
yeah.
or even better, Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy.
Oh, do you know,
Tommy
I
Lee
saw a
Jones.
picture of Tommy Lee Jones's face.
Doesn't look
And
well.
it says, but it says,
Says I'm
Tommy-
old and shit.
It says, it's a caption and it says, Tommy Lee Jones looks like his son just told him that he wants to ride unicycles professionally. Like the face that he makes is very much like,
I mean, you know what? I just thought of someone, but he probably would never get a leading man's role ever. Mel Gibson,
Gibson.
Give it to Gibson did a film called Edge of Darkness.
and that's a good
That's
movie.
a fucking badass
But
movie.
it bombed. It
Yeah,
bombed.
it's a shame.
Because
That
of
film
him.
And what was the
Put
other
me off
one?
guard.
Payback. Was it Payback?
Payback was good, but he did
Yeah.
Get the Gringo.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Get the
Good.
Gringo's
It's a
another
good shout
film.
with Gibson.
Yeah, yeah.
For Death Wish.
Give it to Gibson. I'm down with that. I'll watch it if you put Gibson in
You
there.
know what? Right here, right now, bring back fucking racist Mel Gibson. Actually, don't bring back that guy.
No.
But bring back Mel Gibson.
Just Gibson.
Sorry, we do apologise for the racial comments made on the show.
Right. So we're gonna move on to Spy 2. Paul Feig is developing his first sequel in Spy 2, starring Melissa
bet he
McCarthy. And it involve Jason Statham's hilarious Asian Rick Ford. So obviously it's just coming off the release of the release of Ghostbusters coming out. He said, "It's the first thing I did to set up a possible franchise, and Melissa is dying to do it. I have a story for it and a funny idea that will kick it off. It involves Statham." So Susan Cooper is one of my favourite characters I've ever come up with. But Rick Ford is possibly the one I'll take to the grave with me. Will he get any more self-aware in the sequel? No, God, no. He'll get less self-aware.
We went to see that in the
more of
cinema,
that.
right? Me and Sacha went to see that in the cinema, and I was super surprised. Normally, I fucking hate Jason Statham in movies.
I did for a long time.
Because he's
as well.
like, he just plays the same character. Mm-hmm. And in this one, he's super self-aware about the whole thing. And
Wait. Did you just say he's not in the sequel?
No, he is good.
He
Oh,
is.
thank God.
he's not going to be as self-aware.
No. He said
What
no.
was that?
His quote was, "Will he get more self-aware?" He's like, "No, God, no. He's gonna be less self-aware. So potentially gonna be even stupider."
Oh right, yeah, that's him.
So,
but he's fucking hilarious in that
brilliant in
movie.
this
Like
movie.
some of the lines
Have you
he
seen
comes
it?
out with.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
Spy like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
I love
so
that movie.
good.
It's he's fantastic in it. Every scene
He steals the film.
He does
Steals
steal
the
the
film.
film. And even at the end where he's like driving off in the boat, so it's Lake Balaton. I've actually been there. It's in Hungary, and it is a big lake. There is nowhere to go. So I'm wondering if the movie's just going to be starting with him just circling around trying to escape this lake. I think it's going to be a good thing. I do like generally I like Melissa McCarthy. I think maybe I've seen a bit too much of her playing the same character lately.
Yeah.
But to go back to this franchise, I'm happy with. There's a lot of the other cast that they could bring back as well, Jude Law and stuff like that. Steve Statham in this role.
Didn't
I'm
Jude Law
down for
ghost
that.
at the end of that film?
No, he's around.
Oh,
because he was like the double agent.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? So, I'm so down for more Statham in this role.
Yeah.
Well, you bet your ass, Paul Feig.
I'm not sure if you know how to pronounce it. Feig or Feig.
Feig. You bet your ass he's doing a sequel to this because
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Ghostbusters ain't looking good. Okay, so You know,
There's
he
not a lot of
needs to set up
possibility.
his next project.
But Ghostbusters will make the money. It will make the money because it will do the same thing that Batman versus Superman. I will talk about this later. Batman versus Superman did, where like it made the money back because everyone went to watch how bad it was, like the first time, and then word of mouth gets through, and nobody goes watch it. Like anyway, second weekend on, it drops like 4 levels. Yeah.
Okay, so Spy 2. Well, let's see if there's going to be what additional casting there'll be in that. Right, so our last final big topic of the day is going to be Justice League. So
I'm getting ready for this bit.
there's a lot of information that's dropped in the last week. Is basically Warner Brothers opened up the set to a few sort of like online personnel and newspaper bloggers and reviewers and stuff like that. So the first thing, obviously, is it's due in cinemas Friday 17th November 2017. It's got everyone from Batman vs Superman back, so obviously Ben Affleck Batman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and it's also going to have Ezra Miller as the Flash, who we saw in cameos, Ray Fisher's Cyborg in there. So Zack Snyder is directing again, whether we want to or not. So some of the things that have changed since last time. So the title now is Justice League. So originally it was Justice League Part 1 and Part 2. Mm-hmm. This is going to be much more of a standalone movie. So it's just called Justice League. They've put their logo and everything. Ben Affleck announced the logo. Ben Affleck is also going to be a producer on this movie as well. The reason they've given behind that is because it's going to lend more into him to be able to develop his own Batman movie and stuff and have more influence in the character that way. But the synopsis for the film has actually been released as well for Justice League. So the official synopsis is, fueled by his restored faith in humanity and inspired by Superman's selfless act, Bruce Wayne enlists the help of his newfound ally Diana Prince to face an even greater enemy. Together, Batman and Wonder Woman work quickly to find and recruit a team of metahumans to stand against the newly awakened threat. But despite the formation of this unprecedented League of Heroes, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash, it may have already been too late to save the planet from an assault of a catastrophic proportions. So one of the things that we think the villain's going to be is going to be from the outtake that was posted online after the Batman vs Superman came out. It's in the extended cut where we see Lex Luthor with Steppenwolf with the mother boxes. So we'll break this down because there's lots of stuff to cover. It seems like one of the factors obviously splitting it, well, making it just one film, is because maybe they realized maybe they were trying to get ahead of themselves too much. So I think potentially that's going to be a good thing. So it could be its own movie, but it's going to lead into the next one anyway.
I think it's exactly the same, but they've just changed the name.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's, instead of just them saying, okay, we're going to do a Justice League Part 1 and Justice League Part 2, and then I don't think there was a meeting where they said, oh, let's just put it all in one film. Mm-hmm. I just think they just said, oh, let's just change it, just call it Justice League, and then the second one we'll call it Justice League Age of Ultron. Mm-hmm. So, and they'll do that instead. And I think, because Avengers did it, Avengers Assemble, and then, Avengers, Age of Ultron. And I think that's what they've done there. And I don't know. I'm really annoyed that they went with Steppenwolf. Mm-hmm. But then it makes sense because don't throw the big bad out too quickly. Yeah. Because Marvel have done it. They've teased Thanos, but they've thrown out the lesser guys first. Yeah,
they've got two big villains in Brainiac and Darkseid.
Yeah. And
to get them out too early, they need to build those characters and have them continue to play out. Because again, they got to don't make the mistake of killing them off.
But the problem with Brainiac is, and I think this is like Justice League does not, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Justice League, as far as I'm aware, does not have that many strongly established villains, mm-hmm. if that makes sense, like to the group. Mm-hmm. Whereas Marvel does. Mm-hmm. So. You're going to be stuck like Brainiac. The reason I say that is because Brainiac is primarily a Superman villain. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the Marvel movies, they've got Red Skull for Captain America, and then you have had Whiplash and Mandarin for Iron Man. And you don't really get a lot of crossover from those movies. Maybe you get like a swift little cameo, but that's about it. Yeah. It seems like that they're going to just drag in oh, fuck it, we're just going to get the Joker to come in, and we're just going to get the Joker versus the Justice League. Or, I just don't want that to happen. I think you need to leave the Joker in the Gotham universe for Batman, and that's his shit. What they might end up doing, which might be cool later on down the line, is doing like a Suicide Squad crossover.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on how that does, and at the moment it looks like it's going to be
Justice League versus the Suicide
yeah,
Squad.
yeah,
Or something
and then
like that.
you know who the fuck knows, but where I stand on it, I just personally I just don't want them to rush this movie. They need to build it. They need to relax themselves and think like, okay, we're gonna introduce this character swiftly. I like, from what I've heard, because I think we've shared sort of the same information with regards to them opening the set and stuff like that. And comicbook.com, I think. I watched like a half an hour thing with them, and they were talking about the comedy, and this is what I said to you about what's missing with Batman versus Superman. There's a comedy element there. It's not there. Batman versus Superman, that the comedy element they seem to have picked up on it, and they're like, okay, this is where we fucked up, and
they realise there's a mistake in the tone.
And there's there's a thing that all the people are talking about at the moment. Anybody who had access to the set, and what they're talking about is there's a specific scene where, and I laugh because I think it's quite funny, where Commissioner Gordon is on like a rooftop near the bat sign, I'm assuming. And the Justice League are all there, and they're talking. They're conversing about doing whatever they're conversing at some laboratory or whatever. And then Commissioner Gordon turns away, and just in true Batman style, Batman fucks off. Like he's going, and turns around, and they're all gone. But this time, only the Flash is still there.
Yeah, that's right.
And the Flash is standing. Goes, so they just kind of left you here, and they just without saying goodbye, huh? Oh, that's rude. And then he fucks off. Yeah. And I think, okay, right. So I see, and I think they talked about how Bruce.
You can have that dynamic between Batman and that younger Flash character who's going to be, because he is that comedy element in the Justice League Flash. He is that comic character. He's younger.
Him and Green Lantern, which we haven't seen a sign of yet, which is quite frustrating.
And so I think they are going to establish a little bit more humour in there. Now, the other interesting thing that was brought up, so to come back to the villain side, obviously, we saw the Omega symbol in the premonition that Bruce Wayne has.
Confused the fuck out of me, man.
So the flying things in it, they're parademons.
Yeah.
So they're Darkseid's like minions. Now, they've been confirmed in the Justice League movie. So that is going to be your large battle sequences. So where you have the aliens in Avengers, and then you have the robots in Age of Ultron. They're going to be the mass fight.
Your puddies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Steppenwolf is going to be sort of like bringing
the big bad.
But so basically he's going to be looking for these mother boxes in order to bring Darkseid to Earth, and that seems what it's going to be. I think the Steppenwolf we saw in the outtake, I think that is going to be more of a digital projection. I don't believe that's what the character will look like in it. So I think that was more of the ship projecting. This is what the character. This is who he is. And that's how he was communicating with Lex. So I think they will cast somebody. Hopefully they won't go CG on it.
Yeah.
The other thing, obviously, is the lack of Henry Cavill on set. So no sign of Superman. Will Superman be in Justice League?
They've confirmed it. Yeah, they've confirmed it.
But is he going to be that comeback at the end to save the world?
Yeah.
Kind of
I know for a fact it's been confirmed. They've confirmed. I'm not breaking it. I'm just saying it's been confirmed that he is going to be in it. But in what capacity has not been confirmed.
Yeah,
but he will be in it. Whether
he's going to rock a beard in this.
Yeah, one. He might. Yeah. The thing is, so if you've read The Death of Superman and A World Without Superman and The Return of Superman, which is like a 3-part, like real fucking long story arc of when he died. Is he going to rock back in the black suit?
Yeah,
with the because it's fresh in my head because they buried him in a black coffin.
Yeah.
With the silver S.
Yeah.
So. Who's to say that it's not matching? You don't know.
No, absolutely.
So he might rock out in one of those. And again, if you haven't read the comic books, like a little spoiler, obviously he's not dead because he made comics afterwards. Yeah. But he goes into like a real deep healing hypersleep where his heart beats like once every 10, 15 hours or something like that. And he's being monitored by the Fortress of Solitude. So that could be it because again, spoiler if you haven't seen it, BVS. At the end of it, you see that the soil kind of move slightly,
which was one of the most disappointing things about the ending for that. I would have rather just left it out as there.
Do you know what is very Nolan-esque of Inception with the thing, with the little tell of whether or not he's in a dream or not. That kind of annoyed me, but I don't know where you tell me at which point you want me to interject and talk about what I watched today, but.
Yeah,
I will say this, and this will be for any podcast moving forward and any other podcast I'm on, whether yours or anybody else's. If I refer to a film that is not on wide release at the moment is because my friend Caesar Palace has showed me who that is, and Caesar Palace is a pirate, and he has an eye patch, and he likes to share things with me on occasion. And so if I reference to Caesar Palace, those people out there will know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
How is Caesar?
Huh?
How is Caesar?
Caesar's good. I'll hook you up with some. I'll get Caesar to give you a call later.
So,
Wicked.
So talking about the tone of that first movie, so like the critics score backlash, obviously, what Zack Snyder said, he says, I was like, wow, oof, it did catch me off guard. This time around, the tone will be noticeably lighter in a bit about way. So they recognized that it was just too serious a movie. You know, it was just, and he says, it's a very different energy. I really wanted the tone of the three movies to be different. Obviously, BVS, Justice League 1 and 2, to be different in the chapters. I do think that because of what fans have said and how the movie was received by some, we've really put the screws to what that we've thought the tone would be, and we've crushed it, and even that little bit further. So he's like, I had planned to do it differently, but because of what the fans have said, we've actually done more to try and appease that. So it is good in the sense they've actually listened to the fans, and they've actually taken that on board. It's not that I don't have a lot of faith in it, it's just that I'm worried about where it was headed. And so this movie is just a case of, you know what, they have got some great actors in there. J.K. Simmons being Commissioner Gordon, who looks ripped.
He looks like Master Roshi when Master Roshi powers up in Dragon Ball Z.
Have you seen the pictures of him on Instagram?
I know, but he should be Death Wish.
Love it.
Well, take him
on that. So should Michael Keaton.
Take him from
Michael Keaton, done, sold.
What's that drum film that he was in that we've both seen?
Whiplash.
Take him from Whiplash.
Yeah.
And that's Death Wish.
That is Death Wish.
But you're right. No, I can totally see why. I'm gonna put 2 minutes on this, and that's it.
So
right?
So you've seen obviously the
Caesar
Batman
Palace,
versus,
Caesar
so
Palace
Batman versus
introduced me to
Superman extended cut, the extra 30 minutes.
It's painful. It's painful. It's the. You're gonna have to waste, like, legitimately. You're gonna have to put down 5.5 hours of your life aside, because you need to watch. If you really want to see where it went, you need to see the original cut, like the theatrical cut first, and then you need to put down another 3 hours to watch to see the difference. And if all you've seen is what's been released online when they talk about, here's a little clip of this or Steppenwolf showing up or whatever, which isn't a spoiler because it's already been shown. If that's all you've seen, then that's all you're gonna really notice. Like, to be honest with you, I was promised a rounding off of certain questions I had
and an R rating, cuts. Right?
There is an R rating, but I don't see where it is. Like, I see there's a few more F-bombs thrown down, a few more fucks, a few more shits. Yeah, right. When Batman fights, there is a bit more blood. But I mean, nothing for me to say like, oh, this is an R rating.
Right. Doesn't go to that extreme.
It might have something to do that I may have watched hardcore porn before I watched it. Just put spank on out. But jokes aside, I mean, I was not happy with it. I found myself super bored at the end of it. There were bits in it, but I was just like, I was sitting with my girlfriend and she was like, babe, I don't understand what the fuck is happening in this movie. And I was like, what the worst thing is that this is the one that's supposed to explain shit to you.
It's supposed to give you more. Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's just, you just find yourself kind of question like, I just wasted three hours of my life. Where's it all gone? Where's it all gone? Okay. And I already did 2.5 hours on the fucking original.
I mean, I will give it a go. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt to give it a go. But
tell me what you think, because I'm curious. Because for me, I hated it. I was really bored.
So just to round off the stuff of the Justice League, so the other stuff that they have confirmed, obviously, that it seems like the Bruce Wayne dream sequence is more of a premonition, potentially, of what could happen. But also that there is going to be a flashback scene setting up the mother boxes. So basically what happened was originally one was given to the the Earthlings, one was given to the Atlanteans, and one was given to the Amazons, and they were in charge of looking after these things. So potentially
by who?
You know what? It was let me have a look here. The flashback will be established that the human race was trusted one of these mother boxes, the other ones are Atlanteans. So the one sounds like the ones the human were given ended up at Star Labs, explaining the cube involving Cyborg's origin story, which we see in that video. The mother boxes are sentient supercomputers that were created by Apocalyptans scientists. So these were basically
the people on the dark side.
So basically that's hence why he's going to be tracking them down. Whether that plays into the Wonder Woman movie independently as well, ways to be seen. But that is it's going to be kind of setting up like almost like Lord of the Rings style flashback. This is they went off these boxes. Were
Speaking of flashbacks, do you remember the bit? I know you've watched it with me, so it's been a while. But do you remember when the Flash comes back in time and talks to Bruce Wayne? Does he say a lot? He
didn't say a lot. It was more of a case of was it Lois is the key or something like that?
You were right. Lois is the key.
Yeah,
you need to be careful of him. Yeah, okay. So then, they didn't change that because in my head I was thinking when I watched it again, I was thinking, is that longer?
Right,
I can't.
okay.
This is again why you need to watch both.
Because the Flash in that you've seen more souped up. So it was a future version of the Flash as opposed to one we're going to see in this movie. Yeah,
just don't watch
it. So that's the Justice League news. So there'll be more coming over the next months. So any more updates, I'm sure we'll be talking more about that. So that's the hot topics for this week. Now we'll just move on to the film flashback. So this is where we talk about where our love of films began, our affiliation with the silver screen, and we discuss what was released this time 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and 30 years ago. So, flashback to 10 years, released on June 28th, we had Superman Returns. 10 years ago.
Do you know what? I would prefer to watch that than watch the ultimate cut of BVS.
Well, there you go.
I genuinely am saying that. Like, I would never think those words would come out of my mouth.
You don't like Returns, do you?
I'm a huge Superman. Do I have a Superman fucking tattoo right here? I'm a huge Superman fan, and I'm so fucking pissed off. I would actually. Like, you can't believe a man can fly. You won't believe how boring this man is. It's what that fucking 2000... Was it 2006? 2006 fucking movie is. And I would rather watch that than watch the fucking 3 hours of what that movie. Yeah. And that's just my personal opinion.
I think that's unfortunate because I thought Brandon Routh did a really good job.
I actually really like Superman Returns. I mean, like, to me, like, I grew up on, like, the Richard Donner Superman. And I'm sorry, my opinion, like I like Man of Steel for what it is. It's a guilty pleasure movie kind of thing. Like I don't love it as much as I love the original Richard Donner one with Chris Reeves. And I like his director's cut of number 2 because that's a lot more serious in tone and a lot more about. And I enjoyed Superman Returns. I totally agree with you. In retrospect, it is a boring ass movie, but I can't. You've got to take your time to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get up. Yeah, I'm watching Superman Returns, but like,
I think what there's just certain things that killed it for me. Sort of like Superman's son.
Yeah,
and him creeping on Lois, like
I'm just gonna hang outside Lois's window and just be real creepy.
Use my X-ray vision.
And for me, I just couldn't stop looking at her forehead the whole movie.
Well, she was terrible.
Not even a forehead.
She was terrible. She is awful in that movie. I mean, like the only reason why she got that role is because of Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
that's literally all.
But fucking Kevin Spacey, man, he is such a fucking good, such a good leg. What? Oh my god! I have to say,
Kevin Spacey death wish.
I have to say,
Kevin Spacey death wish.
I have to say this. I have to say this off the bat, and I'm gonna say it again. Jesse Eisenberg, you piece of shit. And fucking. I thought like they'll change him, they'll edit it, they'll do something. They did not. He is the worst bit about that movie.
Absolutely. It makes me want to pull my arm off every time I'm in that. See him in that film, and I haven't seen Now You See Me Too, but I saw the trailer and I was like, that's just him. It's the same guy.
Yeah,
he doesn't act differently. He is just him. Anyway, I'm going to start getting angry.
Anyway.
Also released 10 years ago, which was a big box office hit, was The Devil Wears Prada. Solid movie. And Hathaway launched her career,
Meryl Streep,
right? So, did really, really well.
I've never seen it.
That's really good.
That's what it was. And it is,
never seen it. I know who's in it. I've never seen it.
You should check it out. It's worth
it.
Yeah. So released 20 years ago this week was the Nutty Professor.
Love that shit.
Love it.
That first one
was just
great.
Before Eddie Murphy ruined his career.
Before he started doing all those pathetic movies.
Pluto Nash and all that shit. Fucking Norbit.
Holy Man and stuff like that.
Yeah, Meet Dave.
And also, the big film of the time for guys considering our age, Striptease.
Oh, so that
Demi
one was
Moore.
Demi Moore
I've
goes
actually never
topless.
seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've actually
She's
never
a
seen
stripper
it.
with a
Burt
heart.
Reynolds.
I know what it is.
And it was a
but
case
I've
of we
just
got
never
to
seen
see
it.
her naked at the time, and that was around when you were like, it was like a 15 film. I was probably like 14, but I got in and see it, and it was like, oh wow.
Yeah, Demi
You know?
Moore's hot, man. To this day, Demi Moore's hot.
Yeah.
Like, let me tap that. Like, fucking holler at me, because I'll totally do that shit. Because anywhere Bruce Willis has been, I don't mind sloppy seconds from Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Because that's grade A prime meat anywhere else, man. That's what I'm saying.
And yes, those two films out 20 years ago. 30 years ago, we had Running Scared, Ruthless People, and Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. Thank you very much, Luke Crate, 2 months ago for my Labyrinth t-shirt. Labyrinth is good times-ish.
Yeah, 30 years ago, 27th of June.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember liking it because it used to come on the Paramount Channel, Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I've never seen it.
You've never
What?
seen it?
Yeah.
I've seen it a loads of times when I was
It's one
younger.
of those movies that everyone has seen, and I've always stayed quiet because I was like, everyone will have that reaction.
How are you
of
hosting
like,
this show?
Yeah,
right?
right.
Now?
It's just like, yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
God.
I will get around.
Someone
to
buy
seeing
this man a
I'm not
Blu-ray.
gonna lie, you know what? I'd really like to see another film with puppets on that level.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that,
Well, like-
Dark Crystal kind of
Yeah.
shit. Like, because you just don't get, like...
You don't see
you
that
don't
shit
see that shit.
anymore,
It's
yeah.
all CGI and stuff. And like, I don't mind CGI if it was CGI aided.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
With
yeah.
the puppets.
Well, I
but-
mean, that's CGI aided. That
Yeah.
had the blue screen scene
yeah.
in it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was
But
old
that
school
was
because they
old
had
school,
people in suits
Yeah.
that matched the blue background,
Yeah,
moving
that's
the
it,
legs of the
moving the legs,
puppets.
yeah.
I thought that was that in that old like Japanese ping pong game show kind of thing that they do at the moment.
You know what? Star Fox. Nintendo are making films, yeah. Star Fox with puppets. I want to see that shit now.
down with that.
Interesting.
I'm down with
That'd be
that.
Interesting.
I'm down with that.
All right. So that was a film flashback. So now we're going to move on to the Channel Flick Challenge. So it's this is where you've got remote in hand. It's late at night. You're half asleep. You don't want to watch one of your recordings of one of your favorite shows because you might fall asleep. 2 movies on, A or B. Which one do you watch? So I'm going to put these guys to the test. They're going to battle it out. They have 30 seconds to make their first argument, and they get a 20-second rebuttal. I base points on what I feel like, and then I'll declare a champion. So there's just the 2 of you guys this week. So we're just going to do a best of 3.
Okay.
And then that'll be the winner. All right. So,
Does that mean, like
There's no belt because Richard has
Richard's
it.
got the belt? Oh.
well, no,
Richard's the
I mean,
champ.
no. You'll be this week's champion. So he's forfeited the belt because he's not here to defend. Same. If you don't defend, the belt's up for grabs. So
Okay.
he's lost the belt. So you're both on 2 wins each because we're including.
No, he's on none.
No, Richard.
Oh, right. I was gonna say this guy ain't got no wins on me.
So we are. Yeah, we're just going to go between the 2 of you. So we'll just keep it back to basics this week. So we're just going to do rock, paper, scissors. Okay. So 1, 2. How are you going to do it? 1, 2, 3 release?
Rock, paper, and then on the scissors you throw.
On 3. Okay.
Yeah,
So on
sorry.
the 3. So
Okay.
you guys go.
Rock, paper, scissors. Right. Okay.
Right. So you win. So you can, again, you get to pick to go first. So you get to pick the film. We can go
I'm
second
picking the
and
film.
have
I'm
more
going
time.
first. I'm picking
All
first and going for
Okay, so the first 2 films, Channel Flick Challenge, A or B. Which would you rather watch? Elektra or Catwoman?
Oh, God. I'm going to go with Elektra.
Right? So,
I'm taking Elektra. I'm so sorry, dude.
and the Catwoman, I'm
Wow.
referring to the Halle Berry amazing adaptation of Catwoman. Right. So
Is there any other?
yeah, right.
I've not seen it.
You've
actually not seen
probably
that
seen enough from the trailer.
Yeah.
Right. So Leo, you're gonna have 30 seconds. Go.
What can I say? Well, Elektra, to be honest with you, it was the first personification of Elektra that we have seen on her own standalone movie. Not the first personification because she wasn't Daredevil before. She was a badass. She rocked the fucking size, man. Like, you get to see, a backstory to a character put on film for the first time. You know, she comes back from the fucking dead after getting killed in Daredevil, and she comes back with a vengeance. She comes back to take on the mob. She comes to avenge her father.
Time up. Okay. Sacha, you have 30 seconds to defend Catwoman. Go.
Catwoman. I mean, like, it's Catwoman. She's sexy. It's Halle Berry. It's directed by a guy called Pitoff. Pitoff. He doesn't even need a surname. He's so good. He's French too. So
You can't talk about the director. You
he was
just about the
he was
film.
just born to piss off people. It's got Sharon Stone in there and Benjamin Bratt. And look, you've got Sharon Stone and Halle Berry getting in cat fights.
Okay,
Come on,
stop.
man.
Okay, Leo, you have 20 seconds rebuttal. Go.
Well, to be honest with you, mate, if I have to go, we got Elektra, who just shit completely on Catwoman. Let's be honest with you here. They hated Catwoman so much they had to reboot it again with Anne Hathaway. Right? They were just like, no, we need to do that. They were happy with Elektra. They just said, no, we're done. We've said everything we need to say with Elektra. On our side, we're good to go.
Okay, Sacha, 20 seconds.
Yeah, but Catwoman was like an original take of the character with Halle Berry, okay? Because Catwoman in the 60s TV show, she was originally played by a black woman, and I think Halle Berry represented a black superhero for that demographic.
Wow.
You
know what? Sacha, take that.
I'll give it to you.
That, the way you pulled out of the bag,
I've never seen somebody weave a web of bullshit so profoundly as you just did. Sir, I take my hat off to you because you defended a horrible movie.
So so tell me this. Why do we keep saying we've never had a female lead superhero movie? And why we never had a black person as a lead superhero?
Because everyone chooses to forget Catwoman.
Halle Berry isn't actually recognised as black, I don't think, because she's half Indian.
I would think she would say she was black.
Oh, okay. Well, I think genetically she's like half.
But my point is, you know what I mean? Were they saying, Wonder Woman's going to be the first female superhero? Well, no.
Well,
we've had this.
Maybe successful superhero movie.
Wonder Woman might be successful, but
I can guarantee you Wonder Woman will make more
we've had
money
Elektra as well. So we've had female lead superhero movies. They've just been really poor, which is why they haven't gone on and done more of these. So Sacha, represented that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, fair dues, man. I know. So, to be honest with you, I fucking hate Elektra. I think it's such a shit film.
Oh yeah.
Trying to, but you did that without even watching
the
it.
movie,
so I took my hat off.
Right. Let's go again. So rock paper scissors.
Okay. Rock paper scissors. Rock paper scissors.
Right. Okay, so Leo.
Always pick rock, my friend.
So Leo, first or second?
I'm taking the film. First. Yeah,
right.
first.
So we've got two films again. Which would you rather watch? Notting Hill or Love Actually?
Fuck, I haven't seen any of them.
You've got neither seen neither of these films?
Wow.
Can we go to another section at all? Have you seen? Well, to be fair, he didn't see Catwoman, so I got.
That surprised me that you've not seen neither of these films. So, think of trailers. So, which one have you seen more of, or who do you know is in more?
Okay, I'll take Notting Hill.
Right. Okay. You have to go first, so you're up against it. So, 30 seconds for Notting Hill. Go.
Okay, it's the movie is based in one of the most iconic places in the world, right? Where we have some of the best carnivals, which is why they didn't need to give it any other name like Love Actually. They called it by the place but mate, this is where it's fucking based. At the same time, you've got Hugh Grant, which is one of the typical embodiment of Hugh Grant, right? You've got the typical embodiment of British, and then of British acting. At the same time, Julia Roberts, who's the typical embodiment of American acting, and they just meld that in seamlessly.
Okay, Sacha, Love Actually.
Shit.
Go.
You got Hugh Grant. Oh wait, so do we. We've also got Bill Knightley and Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson is up in there. You may have Julia Roberts, but we'll trump that with Denise Richards, the girl, Jack Bauer's daughter from 24, Elisa Cuthbert, and Colin Firth is up in there. You know what I mean? The thing about this film, it's not just two couples. This is like every kinds of couples trying to come together. It's more about everyone rather than the two bell ends.
Okay, Leo, 20 seconds, go.
Yeah, but there's so much going on in there. That in your movie is just too much filler. They're just saying, we have absolutely no fucking storyline whatsoever, so we're going to make it about all these different couples and confuse our audience. This film is very simple. They have just two characters, simple love story, a tale as old as time, my friend. And and everyone's just happy. They don't need to fill it.
Okay, Sacha, 20 seconds.
Hey, my film is Christmas. Emotions are high. There's a little kid. Hell, it's got bloody Black Panther in there as well. I mean, what's that guy from My Family? He steals the show. I mean, run out of shit to say. I just got a really wicked cast now. I don't know what to do with him.
Okay, so that was difficult. You hadn't seen the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could have. There's so much more to bring to the table with Love Actually on that one. Just because obviously the way all the characters come together in the end, in terms of that play. I think Hugh Grant's that's one of his better performances in that one. You had Alan Rickman in that movie as well. So there's so much in there. I think you defended quite well considering you hadn't seen any of those movies. So the fact that he won the first round, I'm going to give you that one. You hadn't seen that film as well. So it's tied 1-1. We will go to a decider. Right, let's have some rock paper scissors, gents.
All right, rock paper scissors. All right, rock paper scissors. Fuck!
You always go for rock.
I thought, I said it thinking I was going to mind fuck you. I thought you'll go for it. You'll try to change it up.
Going first or second?
Hang on. First, I picked the movie, right?
Yeah.
Second,
You have more time.
first.
Here we go first. Okay. So the two films we have is either Paycheck, Ben Affleck, or Elysium, Matt Damon.
Elysium.
Right.
Yeah, wait. Give me a sec.
You've already picked it, bruv. That's it.
Okay, so Sacha, you have 30 seconds on the clock. Go.
Elysium, great science fiction film reflecting our culture of like rich versus poor. You got Matt Damon in a role that, where he's quite desperate to like survive like his condition that he has because he's going to die. You got some cool sci-fi action there. And you got Sharkly Copley, however you pronounce his name, like taking names and kicking asses. What else is there? Fuck.
Alright, we'll stop it there. Right, Leo.
Shit, that was a crash and burn.
Paycheck, 30 seconds. You got 20 seconds, go. So,
Can I go?
Now.
Okay, so just to say, I haven't seen Paycheck. Paycheck, at the end of the day, mate, it's John Woo. John Woo comes with a caliber of movies that you just can't be touched. I know you got Neil Bockham-Carr, or whatever his fucking name is, but he's fresh, he's off the scene. John Woo, seasoned, mate. He comes in, he brings in Aaron Eckhart and Ben Affleck. He brings in Batfleck. You ain't got Batfleck. You ain't got a man turning around lesbians all over the place. You got some dude with some shitty little fucking armor running around. Rich versus poor. Whatever, mate.
Stop.
This was Paycheck.
Okay, Sacha, 20 seconds.
You're right, it's called Paycheck, because quite clearly everyone did it for a paycheck, because you know what? It may have been John Woo, but you know what? It was beginning of the end of his Hollywood career. Oh wait, it was a fucking piece of shit, man. I mean, like, look, science fiction, but with no science fiction in that. At least my one had guns and explosions and the lot. It had a lot more action than Paycheck ever did.
Okay, Leo, 20 seconds rebuttal.
Yeah, on a side note, they're both rated almost exactly the same, like online. So people, whatever you may think about my film, people thought the same about yours. So ultimately, like, you don't have Uma Thurman. You ain't got Paul Giamatti. Where's your Paul Giamatti? You ain't got shit. You ain't got nothing. Or your side, you got one dude rocking around with absolutely no idea what to do with his life.
Well, at least Matt Damon's actually
You're
good.
done. You're done.
Right. We're done, bro. I had to come back now.
You're done. You're done.
That was tight.
Oh, shit.
Unfortunately, Leo, I'm surprised you hasn't seen Paycheck as well.
Why would I want to watch that movie? It's in the title. You ripped off that line from Kevin Smith. I'm just saying.
It's
Did I?
You know what? I actually didn't mind Paycheck. Actually,
Me neither. I thought it was okay.
It was okay. It was like National Treasure before National Treasure. You know, kind of thing. Just not as good. Yeah, it was.
See, I've seen Elysium. I was like, pick Paycheck. I've seen Elysium.
Right, okay.
But you fucking pick it. I'd give that to him.
It was tight. But I'm just to think that you talked about the classes, like the rich and the poor and stuff, and that kind of subtext and stuff like that. I am going to give that one to Sacha.
Yeah, give it to
Sacha claims his first win.
First win.
2-2
and 1.
2-2
Matt
Damon. Matt Damon. Awesome. Right. So we are just going to sort of wrap up now with a little box office review. So we'll start off with the States first. So basically that is this weekend just now. Ending the 26th. So we're talking about Finding Dory continued to smash the box office, still at number one. Took another 73 million on the second week.
No surprise.
Just keep swimming.
And you know what? And that we're just talking about the weekend here as well. So overall, it's taken over $286.5 million in a week and a half. That is serious money.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Independence Day was a new release. Couldn't crack it. Came in at number 2. 41.5 million on an opening weekend. Central Intelligence still held up its end, 18, almost 18 and a half. That's taken almost $70 million.
That's a small heart and a big Johnson right there. That's what that is.
Also, the film The Shallows opened at number 4, 16 million. And Free State of Jones opened to 7 million. To be honest, I don't know much about those two movies, so I can't really comment much on those.
Shallows is kind of like
Jaws 5.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So I'm really looking forward to Finding Dory. I will definitely see Independence Day this week, but Finding Dory, I'm really excited about this. So coming out next week in the States, we've got the BFG, so Steven Spielberg's new movie. Also The Legend of Tarzan.
That's going to be good.
Which, I haven't seen the second trailer, but the first trailer, I was really impressed.
Good.
Great cast. Margot Robbie as well, right? And then you also got The Purge 3. I didn't mind the first one. It was a nice kind of premise for me. I didn't see the second one, so
didn't like him.
No.
I didn't like the first or second one, but
and also, so the UK box office. So The Conjuring 2 came in and took $6.8 million to keep it sort of like relative. Me Before You slipped to number 2. Gods of Egypt opened at number 3.
Oh, still there.
686,000. Didn't open well at all.
It's doing better than the next one.
But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that took another 650. And The Nice Guys still back in. So The Nice Guys just come up a little bit, you know. So
Word of mouth has
done it well. So
have you seen it yet?
I'm gonna check it out.
Do you want to check it out tonight at 11 o'clock?
Dude, I got work in the morning, man. I can't do that shit.
I'd be tempted, but
I would do it, but I just can't.
Right, so you must see it, what, 5 times now?
6.
Oh, jeez. Right, okay. So released this week in the UK, obviously, is Independence Day, and Secret Life of Pets, which actually I quite fancy as well. That trailer really did make me laugh, so I'm going to get around to that. So that is a box office review. Did you want to talk, either of you, any more about Independence Day in terms of what you've seen this week?
I recommend. Me personally, I recommend Independence Day. I know you have different views on it, but I'm totally down for it, man. Again, for me, it was my Star Wars. And I think it brings that charm in from the second one. The first one's not a great film by all accounts, but like I said to you earlier, it's got that charm that I think will carry through over to the next one. I know you have your views in it, so feel free to. So,
I mean, in terms of, did you feel the nostalgia from the first one?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I fucking, Will Smith's in that shit. Like, not really, but he's in there.
Right.
Like, they throw him in there somewhere. You're like, oh, okay.
Okay, all right.
I see what you did there. You're my favourite bit, and this is a spoiler. This is a straight up spoiler. But and I'm sorry because it's going to spoil it for you. But they straight up ghosted Vivica Fox. They didn't even give her the decency of a proper death. They just
really?
like not even like a close up on screen death. They just ghosted her. I was like, that was like because the last film she did was Sharknado. So they were like, fuck this bitch. And what makes me laugh the most is that she went from stripper to doctor. in roles. Like she switched from like being a stripper in the first one to being a director of a hospital in the second one. And you can't do that in 20 years. You can't go through med school being a stripper, right, and being a director of a hospital in that period of time in New York. It just doesn't work.
Especially when it's being rebuilt.
You could.
Well, think of how many doctors must have died in the first one.
If it was 20 years, if it was 20 years, and depending how much she made as a stripper, I'm like, you know what? If you,
but there's also you also have to think like how long was she serving as a director? I think you have to serve for a while before you become director. I mean, any med students out there, feel free to correct me, but I'm pretty sure like it's like 9 years of med school, just of just med school, of not fucking up for a while, right? Before and you're not going to become a doctor in like 11 more years.
She had connections.
She blew the right people. Yeah.
She knew the president.
She knew the president.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was totally down for it. I enjoyed it. I ended up going to see it on my own, but in the middle of the day, there was nobody there, so it was really like it was a nice, relaxed environment where I could just sit there with my munchies and enjoy it. And and ultimately, like shit blows up. You know, and it's you know, I do think Will Smith's son's character could have been a bit more charismatic. I think there was a lot missing there because you know Will Smith made the first one.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was nice to see Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, I actually felt Jeff Goldblum was one of the him and Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
Especially were.
Bill Pullman was a G, man.
Yeah, he was straight up G in that film. But the other person who I felt, which I didn't think would even be alive, the guy that plays Data in bloody Star Trek.
Oh yeah, Dr. Oken.
Yeah, Dr. Oken.
Yeah. I read online somewhere that
he was pretty good.
I think. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Again, spoiler, right? But this is all spoilers. Is he gay?
No.
Oken.
I don't know.
Okay, because
well, I guess he is now.
I was so confused though because I was
probably they threw it in there.
When he woke up from his like coma or whatever, the guy was like, he kept on calling him babe.
Yeah, maybe they are.
And I was like, oh, is he gay?
Yeah,
they just completely washed over that.
Because like Ryan got.
I don't mind if somebody's gay. I was kind of like, oh, they just threw that in there without warning me. Like,
why should they? Why should they?
Huh?
Why should they?
I don't know. I didn't see it coming because it was like that romance that you just didn't. You know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we live in a day of cinema where it's kind of like it needs to be mentioned.
Yeah.
Right. So like. It shouldn't be, you're right.
Yeah,
absolutely right. It shouldn't be mentioned, but it kind of like, you know, when it doesn't get mentioned, it throws you off guard. Right, so I spent more of time, every time he was on screen with that other character, Floyd or whatever his name was, or it might not be Floyd, but whatever the character was, I kept on going, are they gay for each other? Are they in a relationship? I can't quite tell. This is confusing me.
Right. Well, I'm going to go see it this week.
Dude, check it out. You'll like it. Yeah.
So that wraps up the box office review, and that pretty much wraps up our show. So we're just going to talk about any other business. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, mention that you've seen this week? You're going to go see. Could be comic books, movies, games, whatever.
I'm going to go check out Nice Guys. I just picked up 3 games, so if anybody wants to tell me in the comment section if they're any good, but Mirror's Edge Catalyst for the PS4, Godzilla for the PS4 because I finally found that on a decent price, and Alien Isolation just because I felt like it.
Right.
I was like, I need that back in my life. After I played the Biohazard trailer from E3, I thought I need a bit of first person love. So I picked up those. So I'm going to be playing those. And Dragon Ball Super, for anybody who hasn't, any big Dragon Ball Z fan, I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Dragon Ball Super carries it on after the Majin Buu saga. There are 4 seasons out. The 4th season, the newest episode just dropped about 2 hours ago from Japan, and I watched it just before I came here, right after the bad taste, to wipe off the bad taste from my mouth that I watched with Caesar Palace. I ended up watching that just to clear my palate, and I definitely recommend Dragon Ball Super if you're up for a really good laugh. Touch, anything for me?
I got nothing. I'm good.
No, I mean, just coming out of E3, I mean, there was quite a few things that I found really interesting in E3. One that surprised me was the Spider-Man game. You know, I really like the look of that. Potentially, you know, what that's going to be. You know, we've been crying out for a decent Spider-Man game. So I think probably the best one was was it Spider-Man 2? Based off the movie. I think it's like open world and stuff like that. It was really good. And also, just in terms of on Netflix, I've watched Orange is the New Black, the new season. I blitzed it in 2 days.
Good.
Just a great show. It just continues its quality. And also Netflix is Bloodline season 2. So if you haven't seen Bloodline, great cast in that, some great acting in it. First season was, you know, really good. It sets it out right from the first episode. It's like, this is what's happened, and it's everything that leads back up to it.
I tried to watch a few Bloodlines, and I was like, I get it, but I don't know. I think at the same time, I was juggling too many shows.
Yeah, juggling's a lot. Yeah, so at the moment, there's a lot of I've got more downtime. You know, Flash is finished, Arrow's finished.
There's Billions out,
you know,
so we were talking about
Billions
earlier.
as well. That's something that is available on like Sky Atlantic. So if you got it on Sky, you can download the whole season. You don't have to watch the weekly episodes. The whole box set's available. I've downloaded all those, and I'm going to be watching those as well. And the other one that I watched recently was the TV show starring based on the Stephen King book about the JFK.
11/62
11/22/63.
That's it.
So the day of the Kennedy assassination. So that's got James Franco in it, and you know what? It was a really good watch.
Is it finite? It's done.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay.
There's no follow up to it, so they are going to look to do another one of maybe Stephen King's books and stuff like that. The same director, and James Franco's really interested, but it does tie it up. So I really enjoyed this. I actually want to go back and read the book now to get some of that detail that potentially the show doesn't. But it was really well played out. And from, you know, it does come full circle, so it's just a single season. You can really enjoy it, and you just take it for what it is. So definitely recommend that as well.
Oh, Oh, one thing I have to mention, just because we're on Netflix talk. I bought tickets last night. Me and my girlfriend were scoping through the interwebs, and we bought tickets to a talk that's going on. This is far ahead in the future, October 23rd, 24th, in somewhere in London. Well, not sure, West London. A talk with the two solicitors who were defending Avery in Making a Murderer.
Oh, yeah. Really?
And it's 3 nights. It's like 3 sessions of it. The first 2 nights are sold out, and I've got 2 tickets to the third.
That is amazing. So, if you haven't seen Making a Murderer,
oh yeah, totally.
You need to invest. You need to set aside. Was it 10 episodes?
10 episodes. Yeah.
You need to set aside 10 hours of your life because you won't be able to watch one per week. And I was speaking to you about this, or one a day. Like Leo mentioned it to me, and he was like, it's something you should watch. I watched the first episode. And then I didn't go to bed. I stayed up and watched the whole thing.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, and you came down the next morning and you're like, dude, I'm like, yeah, I'm still watching this. So I'm just like, it was just a case. It's such a fascinating thing. You'll come out at the end and you still be undecided about what's happened. But it creates a really good dialogue. Like anybody who's ever seen it. Then I was online. I was looking and researching and trying to find more information out. And there's so much that they didn't include in the show that you can read up on. Amazing. Making a Murderer.
Everyone's got a degree in law after they watch it. Everyone is a fucking. But yeah, no. So we got tickets. I bought it last night. It's like £30 each. I think the third night's still going.
That's crazy. That is awesome.
£30 each. We just thought, fuck it, we'll go. It's be a good time.
Okay. Well, that's the show for today. So we hope you've enjoyed the show. If you haven't, you know what? Even if you haven't, click the subscribe button below. Please share our video around.
Just do it.
Just do it. Do it. Also, obviously, if you've got any suggestions for the show, please mention us on Twitter. You can talk to us at Twitter, so Friends Talk Film, or you can email us at friendstalkfilm@gmail.com. Sacha and Leo, if they want to find you online, where can they find you?
Sacha Alari on Twitter and Zido's Gang on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. You'll find me on Twitter, Leo Van Damage, and you'll find me on Instagram at Mr. _Ovaltine Jenkins. There you go.
And you can find me at Kenan Akbula on Twitter and on Facebook. And also you can find the Friends Talk Film page on Facebook. That's it. Thanks very much for being here, guys. And we'll see you next week. Remember, friends are better with film.